Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are today. I have no idea what day it is. I think it's the 17th of January 2012. I am Poltergeist, and I will be casting this game between my friend Greenbullet and the Protoss WinTer. It is a Protoss versus Protoss on the ladder in the Gold League on Xel'Naga Caverns. So in the northeastern position we have the red Protoss Greenbullet, and in the southwestern position we have the blue Protoss WinTer with a capital T. I'm gonna throw up some names for you guys to read. Someday I'll get an overlay to cover that up. But for right now, just gonna cast this game. Early on, you know, standard nine-ish pylon going down. Probes, pylons, like Day 9 always says. Greenbullet sent me this game for a specific reason. I'm not quite sure what that reason is, but he really wanted me to see whatever it was he was doing. So we will we'll find out what happens here. I'm not that knowledgeable on PvP, but we'll see what goes on. It looks like Greenbullet's going to throw down his gateway first. And there's the gateway by WinTer just after. And Greenbullet's going to wander out this way, I guess, to check for any proxies, and then eventually go on his scouting path into WinTer's base. Both players taking their gas right after their gateway. Greenbullet just looks slightly ahead in his whole build, which is really cool to see. Scout coming out for WinTer as well. We're just going to walk through the center of the map. Not going to see Greenbullet's scout. Not that it really matters, because I don't think it's doing anything sneaky. Just wanted to check out here. Second pylon going down for both players. And there's a cybernetics core for Greenbullet. Greenbullet losing his scouting probe to a vicious probe mob in the base of WinTer. There's a horrible, brutal slaying. Gas and cybernetics core for WinTer. Greenbullet hasn't taken his second gas yet. He is instead throwing down his second gateway, continuing to chrono boost out some probes. And there he is, chrono boosting Warp Gate. He has plenty of chrono boost saved up for Warp Gate, and there he throws down his second gas. Both players have started Warp Gate, and both players do have a significant amount of chrono boost saved up, so they can chrono boost out the whole way. He really needs to be chrono boosting it right now. Green, chrono boost Warp Gate, Green! And his gas just finishes. WinTer not missing his chronos on the Warp Gate, so it looks like he's going to have maybe a slight advantage here. And there we go, there he goes, Greenbullet, chrono boosting his Warp Gate. His second gateway is finished. He is building sentries. Second gateway for WinTer going down at the front here. Two more pylons for Greenbullet. His sentry is out. Continuing to chrono boost Warp Gate technology. And a robo facility and a gateway coming out for Green now. It looks like the same is in fact happening in WinTer's base. Another gateway and a robo facility. These builds are pretty mirrored right now, that's interesting to see in a mirror matchup. Except not really, because that's just the way things go in mirror matchups. This probe being pretty active, just checking around the map. He wants to take both of these watchtowers. Interestingly, WinTer has a stalker and a sentry, whereas Greenbullet has two sentries out on the field. And he is warping in another sentry and a zealot, and he is getting out a warp prism. An immortal coming out first for WinTer, so their paths have deviated somewhat. Throwing down a forge, Poly to get some upgrades out. He does have plenty of money. He will be able to throw down some upgrades. Green warping in more zealots. Gonna load them up into this warp prism and just take off, I think. Nope, gonna wait for one last zealot. Load him up, and then he's gonna go out. He's gonna take this path along the upper edge of Zelnaga and then down, so that he can avoid you know, anything that might be at the front of WinTer. Greenbullet just a little bit ahead in supply. Observers coming out for both players. You know, really the only difference between these players is their army composition. It's just really the only difference. They've got more or less the same buildings and expansion going down for WinTer. Greenbullet adding on another gateway, not producing out of his warp gates. I think he has a plan for that. I think he's going to be warping in with his warp prism once he gets it inside. +1 being researched and chrono boosted for WinTer here, and WinTer is actually taking a supply lead here now. But these zealots being dropped into the mineral line, gonna do a little bit of damage. Look like they want to snipe the Nexus, ignore the probes. Oh no, going back, gonna get cleaned up by this Immortal, and Green is actually gonna do a warp in down here. More zealots being warped in. Wants to stop this expansion from finishing. And he's gonna fly back into over into this corner. He's actually not producing anything, which is a problem. He could really be turning this into a warp gate. He is chrono boosting his warp gates. That's good, but he needs to be making something. Like absolutely nothing in production. Oh, there we go. He is expanding behind this, which is really smart. Sadly, it doesn't look like he's done quite enough damage here to WinTer, who still has a supply lead. They are even in harvesters, though. Let's look at Greenbullet has actually killed 6 workers, which is pretty good. Cannons being thrown down for WinTer. Oh, another warp in happening back here. But he is going to be able to clean this up because of the cannons. But you know what? Greenbullet is just keeping him from mining, keeping WinTer on his toes, keeping him unable to mine, and just constantly harassing back and forth. So now you see it's actually WinTer that is not able to produce anything because he's so busy trying to deal with this constant harassment, this constant pressure by Greenbullet. And Greenbullet is going to go ahead and take the supply lead back. He's not going to be able to kill this Nexus, but a couple more warp-ins and he'll have that handled. Another warp-in in the main, a couple more zealots. Going to try and target down some of these probes, but no, instead he's going to come back here, pick up this zealot, and drop it back here. He is producing an Immortal in his main, and WinTer really not able to really produce much of anything. And is he going to lose the Warp Prism? No. He's focused on the Zealot, so the Warp Prism is going to get away fast. Greenbullet taking a huge worker lead here because of this constant harassment. Transferring workers, going to move his sentries and his Immortal down to his ramp. The army composition here is starting to even out a little bit more after all the zealot harassment has changed some things. But you know, Greenbullet's harassment, that just he's just gonna fly this warp prism around the watchtower. He wants WinTer to know what's coming, I guess. So WinTer continuing to warp in units, trying to close the gap in supply that that Greenbullet has created here. But Greenbullet just doesn't want that gap to be closed. He's going to continue to produce units, continuing. No, he's not. Yes, he is continuing to produce probes. 2 more gateways being added on for WinTer. I don't really know if he can support this. His money isn't particularly high, but I guess he could support another production cycle. Gonna get +1 armor. That is a difference here between these two players in a direct fight. I think WinTer takes it because he does have +1 attack for his units. But let's look at the army supply. You know, Greenbullet actually isn't that much ahead. His army supply is only a couple of food ahead. It's the worker supply where he has really pulled way ahead. You know, trying to poke at these gateways, not really doing much damage. You know, single zealot warp-ins are they're just an annoyance. They're not really going to do much damage unless you ignore it. They just kind of force you to go over there and deal with it. Greenbullet finally throwing down his own forge, getting charged for his zealots. That's going to be really good in this game, as the only upgrades that WinTer has are, you know, armor and attack. He doesn't have any kind of what I would call utility upgrades. Also adding on a couple more gateways. Still both players... Oh, a Colossus Den. Excuse me, a robotics support bay. That's what it was called in Brood War. It's a robotics bay in StarCraft 2. It doesn't support anything. He wants to go ahead and get out some Coloxin, or Colossi, as you may call them. +1 armor, just finishing up for WinTer. But I believe once Greenbullet gets these Colossus out, he is going to be in a really good position. Let's go ahead and take the Watchtower. WinTer breaking down the rocks at his gold, wants to expand again. Green's still way ahead in Harvesters. Essentially, he's got 2 base saturation here. Just going to pull back with his army and wait until he can get the Colossus out. And wait till charge is done, which it almost is. Army supply, Greenbullet is about 9 ahead. That's quite good. Or no, excuse me. WinTer is ahead. I was looking at workers. WinTer is ahead in army supply now, but Greenbullet's still way ahead in workers. Really should be researching extended thermal lance here. He has plenty of money. His money is getting quite high. Oh, that's an observer. Okay, never mind. He was floating just about at 1,000 minerals, and he's got about 700 gas now, producing a single Colossus. But Colossus aren't that great without their extended thermal lance. But it looks like he just warped in a ton of zealots to drop that money down, and also throwing down some cannons and another gateway as well. Still no extended thermal lance. That's upsetting to me. Researching +1 of his forge, a dark shrine going down, as well as he is expanding down here to his 3rd, while WinTer expands up here to the gold. Gonna go ahead and break down these rocks as well. +1 almost finished. Still no Colossus range happening here. This is upsetting to me. I'm going to go ahead and take this gas here for WinTer. Interestingly, Greenbullet has made do on... I mean, he doesn't even have guys on this gas, so he's really making do on only 2 gas right now. Making mostly zealots for his army composition. Templar Archives and Blink being researched for WinTer, as well as the +2 ground attack. Greenbullet just now +1 attack just finished from, starting on +1 armor. Still no Colossus range research. Gonna go ahead and try and deny this gold base here. I don't know. He's gonna snipe it off, and then those force fields. I don't know who they were, but they really benefit WinTer there, keeping the zealots from really getting close to WinTer. But it also allowed Greenbullet to just pull back pretty easily without WinTer being able to chase them. And WinTer now supply blocked by the loss of his Nexus. Just gonna push out right here. Green's army supply though is much bigger, and apparently Colossus have pretty good range even without their range upgrade. Those are some really good force fields, preventing most of WinTer's army from getting into the battle. Just allowing Greenbullet to just do some work on it. He's got 2 Colossus out. His Immortals are tearing it up. He's doing really well, but I think... oops. He's lost a lot more in resources. I don't know, but his zealots are really getting into this fight, really taking it to WinTer's army here. And now it's way different story. Greenbullet has a way huge lead in army supply, and he's still ahead in workers. Plus he's got this 3rd up, If he can transfer to, he really needs to transfer all of these harvesters to his third, since they're not doing anything, and that'll give him a huge upgrade. WinTer floating a ton of money, almost 3,000 minerals and over 1,000 gas. He really needs a lot more production to be able to rebuild his army. Oh, it looks like while that was happening, I missed a drop back here, taking out some Artosis pylons, leaving WinTer. Wow, I'm sad I missed that. That's not good at all. Everyone misses drops sometimes, though, so I don't feel too bad. Greenbullet just gonna hold on to this lead he has. He's got the production. He's got the worker lead. He can just continue producing his army that was ahead after the last battle. The food lead is now massive. Wow, 60 supply, 64 supply to 26. WinTer gonna go ahead and expand to the gold again. Gonna get his own Colossus in. Oh wow, he took out this Nexus as well. Wow, that went really well for Greenbullet. How did I miss that? Wow. Two-pronged attacks, man. That's smart stuff. But looks like Greenbullet just gonna push ahead, gonna completely prevent WinTer from taking this third. WinTer just doesn't want to take this one over here, this close, this safe one. No, he wants the gold. He's going for the big bucks. Greenbullet's continuing to just warp in. He really needs to put guys in this gas, because he has almost no gas right now, mining only out of these two geysers. He is mining out of these geysers, but he never took this one, and he's not mining out of this one at all. So I really don't know what he's thinking here. Just one of those things that you don't quite notice sometimes, I guess. This Nexus is a boss. It still has only 105 HP from the very, very early game, and taking a fourth for Greenbullet. Going by the mantra of when you're ahead, get more ahead. He knows that he can't be attacked because of how far ahead he is in supply. So he's just going to go ahead and take a fourth. And oh, this Warp Prism moving in again. Warping in a single Dark Templar, who is going to come in here. Oh, here comes the second one. Going to come in here and try to unpower this gateway, and then just kill this one outright. No detection. Oh, here comes the observer. There it is. Going to clean up these two Dark Templar, but not before they're able to unpower a gateway. So, small damage is happening here by Greenbullet with these drops. Still vastly ahead in supply. WinTer slowly catching up in the worker supply. Looks like he's going to want to... No! Is that a Greenbullet pylon? Who's throwing this pylon down? Looks like, yeah, it's going to be Greenbullet wants to throw down a forward pylon here so he can get some warp ins. And this is a real scary push. It's 95 supply to 71. And those Colossus with their AoE damage are just going to do so much. The Immortals, though, really able to take those out, but Greenbullet just has too much. The upgrades on WinTer really good, but there's the GG for WinTer. Greenbullet wins this game. Very good game, really cool harassment. Able to keep WinTer on his toes the whole game, unable to really macro, constantly having to defend. That just left WinTer in a bad position. But this has been a fascinating game from the Gold League, brought to you by Poltergeist, and I will see you the next time I decide to cast the game. So, GLHF and goodbye.